Hello everyone, thanks for tuning in to today's third video, looking at weather for the next 10 to 14 days for today's third video. So day 10, going to take us to around the 8th of February. We'll be able to extend out beyond that with the extended GFS and ECM Ensembles. They run to around a couple of weeks. So we're going to have a look at CFS V2 at the end of the video for February. Join us, CFS V2. GMA Friday has been released. B signals are there for what could be a very cold February, actually, with both the Japanese and CFS models. So yeah, you know, it's quite a historic GMA Friday today. Not very often that we get such a clear signal for like consistent, potentially very cold weather. So have a look at GMA Friday if you'd like to do that. The first video, of course, was Snow Watch. We've got risk of some snow coming up over the weekend for some parts of the country as well. And then next week, after slightly milder or less cold into early on in the week, we may start to see things getting much colder later on next week, and of course we will discuss that in detail in this video, which I'm going to get on for you with in a second. Just to say that coming up later on, we're going to have our live stream, our 10 o'clock tonight. So we'll be live streaming the GFS 18Z, aka the pub run, and we'll go for 12Z as well, of course. We'll have a bit of a laugh. That'll be coming up after 10 o'clock tonight. Tomorrow, we'll have what should be released tonight, but going to be pushed back to tomorrow morning because of how busy we are at the moment. So we'll have the ECM WF 42-day 6-week forecast for you tomorrow morning, first video up. And I'll tell you for everything else that's going on over the weekend at the end of this video. Right, let's do this then. So we're going to start off with the GFS upper air temperature and precipitation ensembles for the next couple of weeks. The red line is a 30-year upper air temperature average. We're looking at Northampton today. We're starting off pretty mild at the moment, but we're going to see the temperatures becoming colder as we go through the weekend, and there is a risk of some snow in some parts of the country as well. Have a look at Snow Watch for more about that. Early next week, but the upper air temperatures are lifting back up again through the early and middle part of the week. It will become a little bit less cold and more unsettled. And then we see the upper air temperatures really falling away as we go through the second half of next week and into like next weekend, and then on into the second week of February, looking really cold here. Some of these ensemble members are going down to minus 10 at 850 HPA. 1 and 2 are going down to minus 15 at 850 HPA. So I mean, yeah, it looks like things are going to be going much colder in around a week's time. It's still a little way off. It's not absolutely guaranteed that this is going to happen, but definite indications there of like a real plunge in the temperature, upper air temperature and surface temperatures coming up like this time next week. Into the second week of February, we have got a little bit of a warming trend taking place actually into the second week of February. However, we have got some very cold on some members, including today's GFS operational run, 6Z operational run, which I'm going to show you the charts to in a moment. So it does get a little bit more unsettled as we run up towards the middle part of February, but that's a very long way out, of course, 2 weeks away. And before then, it does look like there's an appreciably cold spell coming up. Precipitation-wise, this precipitation spike here could deliver rain and snow tomorrow. Then, as we go into next week, it turns more definitively definitively wetter. Temperature lifts up, so a lot of that in the south will be rain, snow in the north. Then after that, as the temperature falls away, it goes drier, of course, but not completely dry. There are precipitation spikes in there, and with the temperature becoming much colder, obviously the precipitation then will primarily shift towards snow. What precipitation there is will primarily shift towards snow. Temperature anomalies on the 29th of January to 6th of February, going to be more or less colder than average in most parts of the country. Down on the south coast, it's still a little bit milder there, but really for most parts of the country, we're either near normal to colder than average in the week ahead. Precipitation anomalies on the 29th of January to 6th of February, significantly wetter than average across southern parts of the country, going drier progressively the further north you go. Here's today's latest wind flow map from earthnullschool.net, showing that cold winds from the north and east are beginning to return. You'll remember that when we've looked at these three this week, generally these cold winds have been passing away to the north of us, but now we can see that they are beginning to move into the northern half of the country, although down in the south we're still drawing up these southwesterlies. So it's still pretty mild for England and Wales, but it's colder across Scotland. That cold air is heading southwards. It could be quite a cold weekend that we have coming up. Right, so this is how the UK Met is looking for midnight on Sunday. We've got cold air being drawn in from the north and the east. We've got low pressure down to our south. The scene is set potentially for a little bit of snow as we go from Sunday into Monday. Monday to Tuesday, so midnight Tuesday, we find low pressure winds sweeping in off the Atlantic. This one's further north, so it will have a big milder sector with it. The warm sector with this is going to be through there. Of course, I have a cold front around there. So this is pushing the mild sector further northwards. It means that through Tuesday and into Wednesday, particularly across England and Wales, it does get a little bit less cold. Although notice the low pressure is struggling again to get that milder air up to Scotland. So it's been cold across Scotland pretty consistently since like Christmas, Christmas Eve, and still it goes on. Really struggling to get anything milder up to Scotland. England and Wales does turn a little bit milder through the middle part of next week, but by Thursday, as far as we go with the UK Met, the low pressure is starting to slip southwards. The winds are going into the east, and this implies that the second half of next week will start to drag colder air in from the east. Is that the beginnings of the beastly easterly emerging? Let's see what GFS 6Z is showing. So again, on Monday, we've got low pressure across northern parts of France. Could bring some rain, sleet and snow into the south. Most central northern parts of the country looking drier but cold. Tuesday, turning wet and windy with this area of low pressure sweeping in off the Atlantic. That brings milder air into the south and southwest, but the air will be colder in the north. Through Wednesday to Thursday, that low pressure stalls to the west and begins to slip southwards. Winds start to turn round into the east. So by Friday, look at this, a week today, low pressure is moving down to Spain and the Bay of Biscay, along with the jet stream as well. Winds are turning into the east, and cold air is sitting to our east. Here comes a -5 Celsius isotherm, -10 Celsius isotherm in the North Sea. And then it just gets colder through the weekend of the 6th and 7th of February. Winds are in from east. It's a strong and bitterly cold easterly wind that we have there. That will drag in a lot of snow showers into eastern parts of the country, and they would push westwards as well. Look at the upper air temperatures, -10 Celsius isotherm is surging through the country on those easterly winds. So a real blast of like the beast. You know, that's the beast from east. You get the temperature down to -10 at 850 HPA with a strong easterly wind. I think you can say you are having like a beastly easterly. So the GFS 6Z bringing in the beast from the east next weekend, Saturday the 6th of February, and we keep that very strong, almost up to gale force easterly wind going into Sunday 7th of February as well. That would have a real wind chill with it. Look at the upper air temperatures again, very cold, -10 Celsius isotherm is through the country. The easterly winds will be dragging in snow showers from the east as well. And yeah, so this could be a very wintry weekend coming up like next weekend, 6th, 7th of February. Could be very wintry indeed with a strong easterly wind and risk of some snow. We also get retrogression on this GFS 6Z run. So look where the high pressure is. For example, on Saturday, like from Scandinavia to Scotland, look where it is as we get through to Monday, 8th of February. The high pressure is retrogressing from Scotland and Scandinavia to Greenland, setting up a Greenland block, and this is going to start to pull wind in from the northeast this time. Now the upper air temperatures are they're still cold, but a little bit less cold now on Monday the 8th of February, which of course is day 10, so a long way out now. But look how cold it is now across northern Europe. Extremely cold. And of course, as that wind pulls into the northeast via this Greenland block, we do start to unleash this very, very cold air from the northeast as we go into the second week of February. So we get an initial sort of push of very cold easterly winds over the weekend of 6th and 7th of February. Then goes a little bit less cold perhaps for a couple of days, and then we start to pull in some what could actually be quite severely cold air from the northeast. This is Tuesday the 9th of February. We are a long way out now, and we know that this idea, by the way, within the GFS Ensembles does become a little bit of a cold outlier towards the end. So this is definitely at the coldest end of the range. This solution from the GFS 6Z, it is probably a cold outlier from this point onwards, but I'll just show you how severe this gets. So we go through to Wednesday the 10th of February with this huge blocking area of high pressure within the northern latitudes. Winds are pulling in from the east and the northeast via that Greenland block. There's this area of low pressure in the North Sea. It will have a lot of snow contained within it as well. Look at those upper air temperatures. Minus 10 Celsius isotherm pushes through the country. Minus 15 Celsius isotherm is on the east coast. The 510 thickness line is also pushing in from the east as well. That's an unusual visitor. Last time to us, the last time we saw that was back in Beast from the East. We've got 492 thickness line over Scandinavia and a long way south into southern parts of Scandinavia. That is extraordinarily cold air that is in across Scandinavia. Absolutely brutal cold in across Scandinavia and back into northwestern parts of Russia. But this 510 thickness line is very, very cold air, sub-zero day and night. And of course that would deliver a lot of snow in from the east, as well as that very cold air runs over the North Sea. Beyond that, it just stays really, really cold. This is proper freeze-up type conditions. Thursday, 11th of February, again with GFS 6Z, bringing in that very, very, very cold east wind. Look how cold the upper air temperatures are looking. Absolutely, absolutely freezing cold. And the 510 Celsius isotherm is into the east again as well. Right at the very end of GFS 6Z, we begin to pull the heights out more towards the middle of the Atlantic. It is still cold even at this point, but if we go any further, we'll probably start to see things becoming ever so slightly milder. But even up to the end of, like the GFS 6 said, it is still cold and wintry, and that gets us today to Valentine's Day, 14th of February. Just have a look at the precipitation based on that GFS 6Z run then. So initially we've got snow through Wales and Midlands, of course. More snow into towards southern southwestern areas later on Sunday. Then into next week. Early next week, the snow brisk is primarily in the north. Rain down in the south, of course. More wet weather through the middle part of next week, and then the wind begins to go into the east. So through the second half of next week, it starts to turn much colder, and by the end of next week, as we push with minus 10 Celsius through the country, any precipitation will be snow. Then there will be nothing marginal, even for those of you down on the south coast that think that it will never snow this winter. If you get minus 10 Celsius through, it will just snow. It can't be rain or sleet or anything else. So by Saturday, 6th of February, very cold air coming in from the east, and all precipitation then. All the precipitation by then is going to be snow. And we keep the snow going, maybe some longer spells of snow running across the south there from the 6th through to 7th of February. And it just stays very cold wintry. Of course, we do something slightly less cold around Monday the 8th of February. And then we get that attack of bitterly cold air from the northeast and loads and loads of snow just piling in from the north and from the east as well. We're in the low res time frame now, but it's just a suggestion that there is plenty of snow around as we go through the second week of February with that extremely cold air from the northeast. It's how the GEM is talking now. This is a little bit of a warning for those of you that want cold weather, so I'll just run you through this. Now, this is Monday. Low pressure to our south and southwest. Again, we're bringing in like quite a cold east northeasterly wind. So yeah, through the early part of next week, unsettled, milder in the south, always cold in the north. Second half of next week, in comes those cold northeasterly winds, but not pulling in the wind like from a direct easterly, not a proper easterly next weekend, such as the GFS was showing on the 6Z. And note how this high pressure is just slipping southwards. So eventually, by day 10, what a contrast this is to the GFS 6 by day 10, on the 8th of February, we actually start to pull milder winds around the top of the ridge. So that will bring milder gunking off the Atlantic olive cloud, and milder air will be moving in around the top of the ridge. So as ever with the UK, you know, we're always on that knife edge between the frozen solid continent in to our north and east, and like the mild westerly Atlantic weather to our west. We're always on that knife edge, and so many people ask me why we see the models changing from run to run and from model to model through this winter. And the reason is that this winter is on such a knife edge between pulling in like very, very cold air from the north and the east. But of course, the Atlantic does not go away. The Atlantic is always there. It's omnipresent. And there's always the possibility, you know, for where we are next to the Atlantic Ocean, that those northerly and easterly winds will not happen, and we bring the winds in from the west. Now, when we've got a winter like we had last year, when it was all Atlantic driven, everything was coming from the Atlantic from beginning to end, because we had that very cold, you know, cold stratosphere. I'm off on a bit of a tangent. This is quite important to explain. So last week we had that very, very mild winter, exceptionally mild winter, exceptionally wet winter. We had the polar vortex of doom, which meant the atmosphere wasn't on as much of a knife edge. Therefore, we did not get as much variability within the model output, because basically for most of last winter there was very little chance of getting like very cold air from the north and from the east in, because the polar vortex was so intense, the westerlies were so strong, and it was just a very straightforward, if rather, for me, to forecast for, rather banal winter. But it was a very straightforward winter from a model output perspective. This winter is very, very, very different, with severely cold air getting into northern and eastern and northern Europe, threatening via blocking to push into the west. But there is always that risk. There will always be the risk, because we're right next to the Atlantic, that at times, you know, we're going to bring the Atlantic through as well. So it actually is on an absolute knife edge this year, which was not the case last winter. But this winter actually is on an absolute knife edge between severely cold air potentially being unleashed, you know, in the next couple of weeks, but also with the Atlantic there, that might not happen. There is no guarantee that we will unleash that very cold air, and that's why you get so much changing from model to model, and also from run to run within, like a single model, like the GFS 6Z to 12Z. So I hope that explains it a little bit, what's been going on through this winter. It's quite important that people understand, like, when we go through these models, especially when we're going out to like day 7, 8, 9, 10 and beyond, we're talking about variabilities within the model output. We're talking about possibilities, options that are on the table, but there is never a guarantee, especially in this kind of very complicated pattern. Right, so that's the GEM done. Let's have a look at the ECM WF as well. So, sorry about that. I was off on a tangent. Sorry about that. You know how I like to go off on my tangents. This is how the ECM is looking then. So, early next week, we've got low pressure trying to come up from the Atlantic, coming into this cold air, digging down from the north and from the east. Eventually, though, it does go a little bit less cold through the early part of next week, although Scotland does hang on to the cold weather throughout, really. But England, Wales and Ireland turning less cold up to the middle of next week. And then, similar to all the other model output, the low pressure stalls in the Atlantic, starts to slip southwards as this very cold air to our east and northeast begins to get drawn in on those easterly winds. So the ECM goes in the same direction as the GFS. There we see the upper air temperatures for midnight on Friday, drawing in the first pulse of cold air from the east, and it just turns colder then as we go into the weekend of the 6th and the 7th of February. We're bringing in bitterly cold easterly winds. Scandinavian high there over Scandinavia, proper easterly pushing through the country. In comes to minus 10 Celsius isotherm. So that is again sort of beach from the east type temperatures in terms of the upper air temperatures. And as we go through to day 10, Monday the 8th of February, we're looking very cold with a proper easterly blowing. Low pressure is trying to come up against that Scandinavian high. the cold east winds, but it is being fended off. It's been receded in the Atlantic, and we're keeping wind in from that easterly direction. There's the upper air temperature shown at -10 Celsius firm. Is pushed right through the country, and it is heading over into Ireland as well. -15 Celsius firm is in the North Sea. This is bitterly cold air coming in from the east, and there will be snow being drawn in with those easterly winds as well. So we have the GFS and the ECM that are looking very cold and wintry between around days 7 to 10. We have the GFS. It does get quite cold, but not nowhere near as cold as these two, and eventually by day 10 finishes up looking rather milder. This is the precipitation type forecast based on that ECM run from Tibetio.com. So again, of course, the initial focus this weekend is the snow in the southwest. So there's heavy snow coming up this weekend across Wales, something getting into the Midlands as well. Tomorrow that slips away, have a very frosty night on Saturday night. Then the next system coming in from the Atlantic. A lot of uncertainty about this. Have a look at Snow Watch for more about this, but a lot of uncertainty about Sunday. How far northwards and eastwards we bring this snow in from the Atlantic, but potentially there could be another snow event focus on Wales and the Midlands on Sunday afternoon and Sunday evening. Into Monday, ECM also has another snow event then, Monday through to Tuesday, from southern Scotland down to southeastern England, so a big dump of snow coming through there, before eventually by middle next week we do start to see a little bit more rain, slightly milder temperatures in the south, but still quite cold up in the north. And then of course the second half of next week, that's when we get wind round to the east. In come the east winds, in come those very cold upper air temperatures. So by this point there's no marginality going on whatsoever. All the precipitation is snow. And look with snow up in the North Sea. That's as the very cold upper air temperatures running over the North Sea. The model does not show those snow showers running inland all that well, but they would run inland very well by day 10. We've got -10 Celsius through the country, so there's no reason at all why these snow showers won't be pushing inland, and it is all snow by then. The upper air temperatures are so cold that any precipitation will be snow. These are the options on the table within the ECM Ensembles today for day 10, which gets us to the 8th of February. 14 members of the ECM Ensembles have a mid-Atlantic ridge going up towards Greenland, and also a ridge to our east. There's probably going to be some sort of low pressure through here. Let's try to go cold, I think. That's going to be going cold. We have 13 creamy operational run. That's very cold. This has high pressure in the middle of the Atlantic going to Greenland. Low pressures to our south. In come those easterly winds. Very cold with that option. 12, again, high pressure to our north, blocking between North Atlantic, Greenland to Scandinavia. Low pressure to the south winds again, going to be in from the east with that one. And then 12 just here, have blocking around Greenland, trough low pressure over top of the country. I mean, that's trying to go very cold as well, but we may be drawing up something a little bit less cold from the Atlantic. But of course, the thing with that is that it might transition into like a very cold and snowy scenario. In 2 weeks' time, these are the options I've got. This gets us to the 13th of February. We have 12 members of the ECM Ensembles with high pressure to our north, winds in from the east. 11 with high pressure across Greenland and in the middle of the North Atlantic extending into the UK. Despite the blowing, that's probably going to be trying to bring something a little bit less cold in from the North Atlantic. 11 just here, again, the Mid-Atlantic ridge up to Greenland. Low pressure to our south, winds in from a cold easterly direction. 11 with high pressure over Greenland. Low pressure to our south and east, winds again will be in from the east. And 6 with high pressure sitting to our east, low pressure to our west. We could be drawing up something a little bit milder from the south with that, or we could be drawing in like southeast of a frozen snow-covered continent. Difficult to say. There's a very fine margin between like a mildish southerly and a cold cold frozen southeasterly. Finally, with CFS V2 for February, this was 700 millibar height anomaly today for February, showing masses of blocking within the north latitudes and low pressure to the south, winds in from the east. It's a long fetch easy with the air probably originating somewhere like central Siberia, actually. So yeah, I mean, that is extremely blocked. Potentially very cold. Actually, the model is going for a cold and average month, which is not something you see very often with the CFS V2, but I can tell you, you probably have a job to make this out, but we are in blue colours there for the UK and Ireland, which is highly unusual. Notice much of Northern Europe absolutely plunged into the freeze with blues going like to purples, which on the temperature scale, this is the temperature scale, takes things down to like 4 degrees or more below average. So of course it's a cold time of year anyway across Scandinavia, so 4 to 5 degrees below average over Scandinavia in February is going to be exceptionally cold, and that cold air is getting into Ireland and the UK, very unusually so for the CFS V2. And it's also going for a rather dry month as well, which you expect with extensive northern blocking, substantially drier than average to our north, wetter than average to our south. The thing to bear in mind, of course, is that if it is cold, then what precipitation falls, and there will be precipitation, what precipitation falls will fall as snow, with the winds coming in from the east and the northeast. It doesn't take much snow to cause masses of disruption, of course. Right, that's it for your 10 to 14 dayer. Another classic, I think, there. So I think people will be remembering this one for quite a few years. If you've enjoyed this video, please can you smash the like button. Make sure you're subscribed to our channel. You'll be able to see future weather content. Tell your friends, family and everybody else to subscribe. We've hit 10.2k subscribers. We're grinding to 11k subs. So please tell your friends, family, everybody else to subscribe and drop a comment and let us know what you think about this and all of our videos. Thank you so much, everyone, for doing that. Right, that's it for your 10 to 14 day. What an update that was. What updates we're having today. Absolutely unbelievable. And this sets us up for what could be a very, very interesting live stream after 10 o'clock tonight. So I shall see you then. Tomorrow we've got the ECM GWV 6 weeks forecast coming up. We'll have the week ahead forecast. That's going to be an interesting week ahead forecast, I think, this week. So week ahead forecast coming up as well tomorrow. And another 10 to 14 day also. It's all going on. It's all happening. And we might be edging ever closer to those BCECs. But as I explained, there's never a guarantee with our weather. But keep watching. Keep watching. Keep watching. We could be reaching the coldest part of this winter. Right, we're back after 10 o'clock with your Friday night live stream. For this one, though, that's all for now. And thanks for watching.